Come down. Ooh, you make my high come down. Always tripping when you come around. Never have to cut you out like right now. You see, I don't have to drive me. You can say that for your mama. Maybe you should smoke some. Me try the marijuana. I was loving you good. The vibe was straight. Showed you a couple of things and they feel strange. I treated you right. Everything was a gift from a time to your bag and the color on your lip.
Welcome to the Seahawks Man-to-Man podcast, powered by Blue Wire. Shout out to the new company. My name is Michael Sean Dugar. You guys can follow me on whatever Elon Musk is calling that app. My @ name has not changed. @Mike Dugar is right there under my chin for those who are watching on our YouTube channel. Speaking of our YouTube, name of the channel, Seahawks Man-to-Man. Seahawks Man, the number 2 man. Same thing on Instagram, same thing on TikTok. Make sure you like, subscribe, share. All the good buttons on all those platforms, just press them. Even if you just listen on audio, doing that on those other platforms means a lot to us, helps us out, supports the pod. So thank you in advance for doing that. Appreciate the love and support. Chris, go ahead, talk to him.
What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Christopher Kidd. You can follow me on Blue Sky and Twitter at CKIDD206, and that's CKid206.
All right, the Seahawks, they won today. Good for them, because it took me 11 hours to fly here, to fly to Pittsburgh on Saturday. It was a long trip, man. A 6 a.m. flight. I didn't get my hotel keys until at least 7. At least it was a long. That might be longer than 11 hours. But anyway, a long trip. Seahawks, they continue to be road warriors. I looked this up. I think the Seahawks are like 8-1 or something like that under Mike McDonald on the road. Their only loss is that Detroit game on Monday Night Football, and they were pretty beat up. Otherwise, they are pretty solid on the road. Home, not so much. But they continue to be road warriors. They beat 57-year-old Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. Final score 31-17.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, there we go. Only allowed 17 points again. Allowing 17 points should be enough to win a game in the NFL, for what it's worth. It just wasn't last week, which is why we'll probably spend a lot of time on the offense today, because that's how you get over the hump. That and a rookie forgetting how special teams works. We'll get to him. I'm sure. I feel bad for that kid. But yeah, Seahawks win, getting the win column. Very, very big deal for them. A very big deal for proof of concept. I think that's really important. He's in year 2, but he's still young on this. And I do think that the guys who haven't been with him for a while do need to see the process work. You need to see how the coach handles you guys losing, how he handles road games, how he handles players not performing, how he handles changes to the lineup like he did today when they didn't have Spoon, didn't have Nick Eamon-Wari. He needs to be able to handle all that. And needs to show the guys that haven't been with him. Every year, you're proving yourself as a coach. Even if you're someone like Mike Tomlin or, a young guy like Mike McDonald. So I do think proof of concept is important. I'm sure Mike all week was saying, trust our process. Let's clean these things up. Let's stay true to who we are. Let's play our brand of football. It's a lot of coach speak, but that stuff does matter a lot. It matters to the young bucks who are new here. And then it matters to the veterans to reinforce who you are. Veterans, when I mean like guys like Cup, who've been in other places. Guys like D-Law, been other places, had success. Who else is new? Even a guy like Eric Saubert, just all these guys that are vets they're learning about Mike, they're learning about the staff, they're learning about the organization. So you're proof of concept. That's what I mean. You're trying to demonstrate your identity on a weekly basis, because the NFL is a week-to-week league. It's what have you done for me lately? And this team with Mike McDonald, they want to run the ball. They want to be physical on defense. They want to generate turnovers on defense. They want to generate explosives on offense, particularly in the run game. That's the identity. The other part of their identity is when we're on the road, we're together. I thought the coolest thing I saw today, Chris, was when the Steelers played that awful song. Apparently it's called Renegade by a group called The Sticks, I think. Never heard of them. Anyway, don't matter. They played that song in the fourth quarter to get hype. They played it today. Right before the Seahawks drive, they ended with the Ken Walker touchdown. They play it every time, the little rallying cry. It's like when the Eagles play Dreams and Nightmares by Meek Mill. Same thing, same effect. And the Seahawks knew that, practiced that all week in practice, and they had a counterpunch. They was like, we're going to wave our towels, damn these terrible towels. We're going to wave our white towels. We're going to get hype. I saw a bunch of bench guys, bunch of assistant coaches get hype, jumping up and down. Nehemiah Pritchett, backup running backs, Shaquille Griffin, everybody getting hype. They were like, y'all not going to have your little moment. We're going to take that moment from you. Like, and that's part of identity too. I've seen Pete's teams play on the road. I never seen them really counter the other team's like go-to move, so to speak. I thought that was really cool. I thought it mattered. I thought it helped. And you saw them kind of take the juice away. Because when they played it, it was right before the Seahawks went on their drive that ended with the Ken touchdown. But that game, that drive easily could have been bad. It was 3rd and 9. They needed to get it first, and that's when Sam did the spin move and then found A.J. Barner. Keep the drive alive. That's a crowd silencer. The very next play is a long shot to JSN, 43 yards. Now the field is flipped. So now even if you just get a field goal, you're up 2 scores with under 4 minutes left in it. You basically have the game in hand unless, you guys don't know what you're doing. So I thought that was a really cool, like, it would be nice for them to win at home, obviously. But for some reason, they figured out how to do it on the road. I asked Leonard Williams earlier in the week, I said, why y'all keep winning on the road and not at home? He's like, I don't know, man. We got to figure that out. And I asked him today, I was like, dog, how y'all keep doing this? He was like, I don't know. Hopefully we can do this at the crib. Basically, I'm paraphrasing. But I thought a lot of what Mike showed during the week and a lot of what he showed in the game outside of some 4th down calls was really good for these guys to believe in the messaging, to believe in like, okay, we didn't have to overreact to week 1. We just have to finish better. And they finished very strong today. What was it in the second half? Well, they outscored them 24-3. Is that right?
I believe you're correct. Yes, do some math here. Second half, 24-3. That is correct. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. We both got the math right. I don't think we should do any more math on the show, to be fair. But there you go. They didn't panic because they shouldn't have been down 14-7.5, like at all. That was just ridiculous. Sam kept throwing it to the other team, bad. So, but Mike's whole message at halftime was, we don't got to panic. We don't got to overreact. Play our ball. We'll be fine. That didn't include my man on special teams just forgetting how the rules work. But even without that, I thought they would have been fine. So very, very big win. Also big just in the big picture of the division. I think everyone else won today. The
Correct.
Cardinals won. Yep. The Niners won. And the Rams won. So you want to stay pace. And I know it's early, but that we saw last year. The tiebreakers start to matter, and boys. So you better win them games. Win up every game you can. So that helped in the big picture. But yeah, very huge because now they got a couple of very winnable games. It feels like coming up. So yeah, very, very, very worthwhile 11-hour travel to get over here for them to go get that done.
One thing for me in watching the game was how important and the factor it played in the play action game. Their first touchdown, guys. Oh, look. Everyone talked about, where's Torrey Horton? Well, play action pass, barbecues Jalen Ramsey, 6. And then, Mike, you mentioned it. Another play action shot to seal the game. They've been running the ball effectively with Ken Walker in the game. I think Ken finished with just over 100 yards. I think it was 109 on, what was it, 9?
13 for 105 in a tug.
13 for 105 in a tug. So you can see how the play action, it's a perfect relationship. Mike McDonald emphasized it in the presser last week after the game or during the week, midweek, talking about we got to get back to play action passing and using that. And you saw how important it was. The biggest drives resulted in positive outcomes because of those linebackers coming up, because of DBs playing tighter, because they're fearful of what? The run. Hell, even on a 3rd down, and I want to say it ended up in a field goal in the 4th quarter, Sam Darnold was able to hit Cooper Kupp right behind the ear of linebacker Patrick Queen. Oh, Mike is down. What's up, Mike?
That was 3rd and 1. Sorry, I was muted. I had myself muted.
3rd
yeah,
and
it was
1.
3rd and 1.
3rd and 1 play action. Darnold looking over the middle. Guess who he finds? A guy that can get open over the middle, who Mike has talked about ad nauseum prior to this, the season starting in training camp. He might not be the triple crown receiver from 3 years ago, but you know what? He can run about 4 or 5 routes, and he did that exceptionally well on Sunday.
That's one of them, by the way. That's one of them.
That's one of them. Yep, got open over the middle and caught it. Got down the field, put his team in position. So play action. Mike McDonald preached it. and they came back and responded exactly how you'd want to, which is using it after successfully running the football. So that was really encouraging to see, and I'm sure that gives the confidence to the players that, damn, we can actually go out here, play action pass. And JSN, who is not the fastest dude, he just left Jalen Ramsey in the dust. So that is one thing that stood out to me, and can't wait to go back and watch the film on offense and defense, because, again, the defense shutting down the run yet again. I think they ended up with just under 70-something yards for 21 carries. So another strong
20
day on the ground.
carries for 69 yards between 3 running backs.
I don't know what more you could ask for. They got gashed on a few plays because guys just don't want to tackle, but those are things that you can tighten up. What matters is when they got in that red zone, the Seahawks really clamped up outside of that touchdown to DK Metcalf, which is smart. Hey, motions a few guys out here. You have your mismatches, make a play. You have your 6'4" guy that can jump out the gym versus a 5'11" corner safety DB. I think the Steelers would like their chance. So outside of that, though, I thought the Seahawks defense was pretty strong, and they did not break. Even when they got Sam Darnold threw a terrible interception and they're pinned, they held and stayed strong, and that's all you could ask for. Ended up getting a turnover. So you just look at how the game progressed, and the defense asked for these type of challenges, and they're getting them. They saw that in week 1, although it didn't go their way. Week 2, they responded. It did go their way. You didn't hear a lot about Reek Woolen, so I'm guessing I'll be going back on the tape and watching how strong and good he played. Hell, on the TJ Warren 90-yard run, Reek saves it. He doesn't give up and was able to make the tackle, and the presser, the postgame presser, Mike McDonald gave credit to Reek on that, because if Reek doesn't chase him down, that is a touchdown, I would say. He just
can I propose something for the pod here?
Oh, yeah.
You know how some people in their households have swear jars?
Yes.
You know what I want to implement?
Uh-oh.
Anytime that you mistake an NFL player for an NBA player, you gotta put $1 in the jar.
Dang, who'd I do now?
Jalen Warren. TJ Warren played for the Pacers. We'll start it next episode. Next episode,
too much basketball. I think I'm a.
You watch a lot of NBA. Well, there's a Lakers jersey in your background here, so it's okay. But that's the I'm gonna get a jar anytime it's an NBA player. If we get a name wrong, we get name wrong all the time. That don't matter. But if it's specifically it's an NBA player instead, put it in the jar, and we'll get a jar to charity or something like that. We'll local Boys and Girls Club YMCA or something like that. We won't pocket it. But
they will
there
be
we
rich.
go. They will. That's what I'm like. Let's do it. It's week 2, so we're gonna do it. So I wanted to interrupt before you kept going too long to throw that in there.
Oh man. Well, E1 on me. Yeah, I'm sure the people listening are like, "Good God, Chris, did you even watch the game?" Yes.
Well, no one probably knows TJ Warren is such an obscure basketball player. I just know who TJ Warren is. So
it just rolled right off the tongue, didn't it, Mike?
Well, it's just as obscure as Carlos Arroyo, I'm sure. So,
man, I knew that was coming. Well, yeah, those are some things that stood out to me on that week 2 win, 31-17 over the Steelers, who, man, they had it, but shout out to their young running back. My man forgot to play. Go get him the football, young fella.
Yeah, that's tough.
Tough. Special team does it again.
Yeah, special teams, man. They get our old meaning the Cougs' old inside linebackers coach. I think his name is Roy Manning. He used to do like a video every time we won, and he would shout out the offense, shout out the defense, and he would always say, "And shout out those special forces, tick tick boom," like that, because it matters. I think he followed Lincoln Riley, I think somewhere. Anyway, but yeah, Coach Manning used to always do that. Yeah, special forces, man, they matter. They can change the game, just as they almost did the last time they played Aaron Rodgers. Remember the Jets game? It was awful. That was
kick returns. What is going on? Fumbling the football. Jeez, come on, guys.
That game cost 2 guys their jobs last year. Forget the other guy, but then Laviska didn't make it. Didn't make it through that either. But yeah, very good win. Very happy for Ken Walker. Went over 100 yards, like you mentioned. First time since last year against Denver that Ken's gone over $1. That is no bueno, but good for him getting that. It's if the run game is working, Ken will benefit. That's a fact. Telling you guys that this all off season, that's true. If it don't work, then Ken won't eat. The biggest beneficiary, though, if it is working, will be Ken Walker. He will have more 100-yard games if the blocking is there. So shout out to Ken for getting the 100-yard game. Shout out to O-line too. They did their thing on that. But yeah, big win. Glad they got it. And yeah, we got questions. We got 20 plus, you said, plus voicemail. So let's roll.
Hey, this is Jacob from Vancouver, Canada. I just wanted to ask you guys what you thought about the run game today. Obviously, Walker went off. Charbonnet really struggled. It looked like, especially early on, Walker was getting a lot of inside runs, lead blocking from Oots, and it was working. Whereas for the most part, Charbonnet was getting kicked outside, tosses, stretches. Now, we saw that work for Walker on his touchdown, but Charbonnet just couldn't get anything going all day long. What do you think is the cause of that? Does it just have to do with the Steelers' defense and how they committed to stopping the run, or was there something else at play? Thanks, and been a huge fan of the podcast since I started listening back during training camp.
Nice. Appreciate the question. Yeah, I think, and we've talked about this on the pod too, this offseason. The wide zone, whether you're wide zone, inside zone, mid zone, whatever, it zone running team, perimeter kind of base team. There's pros and cons to having that identity, right? The pro is you have something all offseason you can teach. You have something for the scouts to scout to. That's a very big part of it, actually. It's like, okay, we know what we're looking for as a coaching staff. You tell the scouts, go get that. Shout out to Brandon Thorne. He does the Trench Warfare newsletter. He has like a offensive line. Is it almanac? I think that's the word I want. But in that, he did some breakdowns of all the old lines going into the season. And I think the Seahawks, and he ranks all of them. The Seahawks, I believe, had one of the most athletic offensive lines by relative athletic score. And they also had one of the lightest offensive lines in terms of pounds. So they had one of the lightest, but one of the most athletic. That's what the scheme requires, though. I think that's a really good marriage between personnel and scheme. This is not like a get 100. This is not get 5 dudes who weigh 330 and run it up the gut. That's not this offense. There are other offenses that do that. This is not that. You can get by with a bunch of dudes who weigh 309 but can move. That's the scheme. So I think that's good that they're kind of in sync, I guess, with their personnel and the scheme. And I bring that up to say that's the good part. The bad part is that the other team knows that's your identity too, right? So they can work on that all week. They can say, here's how they're going to get to their outside runs. Here's the gap integrity we need to have, and rep it and rep it and rep it and rep it so that on game day, when they see it, they're ready for it. And yes, in the question they mentioned, yeah, it worked for Ken sometimes. He did have some tosses and some zone stuff where he was able to stick his foot in the ground and go. And then sometimes Zach didn't. I don't necessarily think that's a product of Ken reading it better than Zach, as much as that just some misfortune, because Ken had some that didn't work either. But you're going to see a lot of that. In the same way that the Seahawks shut down the Niners run game largely last week. They run the same thing. You can stop this run game. It really is, and we talked about this all offseason, it really is about the guys doing the blocking. There's no foolproof scheme that makes you good at running the ball inherently. If there was, literally every team would be running it. You need the Jimmies and Joes to execute the X's and O's, to steal a phrase that KJ Wright used to tell me all the time. So I thought the run game was good. I thought they leaned on it really well in the second half. I think we talked about Clint before, how you respond is really what says who you are as a coordinator. Chris, they didn't run the ball well in the first half at all. Let me get my first half numbers here. Let me see if I have these. I'm pretty sure they were 12. Yeah. So Ken in the first half, 5 carries, 26 yards. It helps. He had a 13-yarder in there. And then Zach, 7 carries for 11 yards. Right. So I'll read you guys how the first time they touched the ball in the second half went. Under center, zone run, 9 yards. Under center, gap, right up the front, 15 yards. Ken ran over somebody too. Zach toss, lost the yard. Poor Zach. Poor Zach. Elijah Arroyo had a 7-yard catch. I think it was a stick route. And then Cooper Kupp, 17-yard catch on 3rd and 4. And then play action pass, as Chris was just talking about, for 16 yards that would be first down. Right after that, Ken Walker under center, right up the gut. Ken Walker under center again, 5 more yards, right up the gut. So I like the commitment there, but also I think that they realized they had to mix it up a little bit more because they were just ready for the perimeter stuff. Because I think one thing I've learned about watching the Seahawks struggle to defend the perimeter stuff with the Rams and the Niners is that you really have to commit to it. You really have to almost overcommit. And it leaves you vulnerable to when teams run other stuff. So I thought the run game was good, but I think what you saw today was a little bit more of what you're gonna see throughout the season if they're gonna have success. Is we almost have to, we being the Seahawks here, we almost have to have our counterpunch damn near be our first punch. Because like teams they're gonna be ready for the perimeter stuff, and they're gonna line up their backers and their DNs accordingly. You're gonna have to see Sam get to the line of scrimmage and go kill, 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 or whatever, can kill, whatever their calls are, and say, all right, let's go right up the gut. And then you saw a little bit of that today. And I thought that drive that I just outlined, which ended with the AJ Barner touchdown, I thought that was a really great example. So yeah, other teams are going to be ready. The Saints are going to be ready for it. In 2 weeks, the Cardinals are going to be ready for it. The counterpunch is going to be really important. I think Zach can have a good day too, but it doesn't surprise me that Ken had a good day. Like Ken is scheme proof to me. I've been saying that for months. It don't matter what scheme you run, Ken can do it. So as long as the blocking's good, and it was good today.
Hey, Mike and Chris, this is Christian calling from great Seattle. If you guys had to predict how many years it'll take for our Super Bowl window to open up, how many years do you think that would be? And do you think we already have the players in place for our Super Bowl window, or are we already in our window? Look forward to your guys' thoughtful responses, and just wanted to shout out, Mike, I got your book for my birthday. It is amazing, and I can't wait to get a signed copy from you. Peace.
Well, I'll address the second part of that. Thank you for buying the book. Everyone buy the book. It's on Amazon. About the Legion of Boom era. Won't spend too much time on that because we're doing our post-game pod. But thank you so much. What do you think, Chris? I'm a little torn here. I feel like they need one more. I think they not one more. I think they need a Pro Bowl caliber lineman, and I think they need one more difference maker in the passing game. I feel like that's when the window will open. I feel like that's what it needs to be. To the point of like, do they have the players? I guess that's kind of how I'm hearing that question in my head.
No, 1,000%. I think maybe the next year's draft, or maybe they get a free agent. Maybe John's like, F it. we got if we want to win one, we're gonna have to spend some money. Because that's sometimes what it comes down to. Are you willing to go out in free agency and just cash in all the chips? The Rams have done it. Look what the Eagles did. They paid everybody in the organization. Obviously, it was built within, but if you're like the Rams, you're going to have to make some things shake. You're going to have to pay guys, trade for guys, do things a little unconventional, how about I say. And the Seahawks have never done that. They've always been, well, they had Legion of Boom. That's what it was. And now you're looking at it from that viewpoint and saying, well, how can this team be any closer? And I think, yeah, having an elite wide receiver outside of JSN that can do multiple different things would help. And then if they can get another stud on the offensive line or D line, that wouldn't hurt as well defensively. If DeMarcus Lawrence turns out to be a Pro Bowler, or how about this, All Pro, that would help. Uchenna Nwosu staying healthy, I think, could definitely be a person that is a Pro Bowler. And if he's healthy, maybe All Pro. So if these guys can stay healthy, it's tough in the NFC. Don't get me wrong. There are some dudes. I mean, Micah Parsons, he's off to a great start this season. So there's some dudes that are there, but I think the Seahawks, they're getting closer, but I think the window would be open in the next 2 years. I think 2 years, that window is open for them. Depending, quarterback situation is that can be an interesting one, because I would imagine if Clint Kubiak, if everything goes well, Clint Kubiak won't be in Seattle much longer. It'd probably be a 2-year thing. Like if the offense continues to get better and better, and they have one of the top 10 offenses with this unit that they have now, obviously they're going to be in that window. So let's say they lose in the divisional round. All right, well, you just lost your offensive coordinator for probably, I would imagine, depending on how well the offense is finished.
Probably, yeah.
So now you have to reset, find a new offensive coordinator. I think that's just – so I would say 2 years. If in 2 years, that could be their Super Bowl window, because I think the defense is going to be nails. Now, the fun thing is, based on how everybody plays, John's going to have to pay somebody. And if you don't pay guys, they're going to get money elsewhere. And I would imagine he wants to keep Spoon.
Kobe.
I would imagine he wants to keep Kobe. I don't see him not paying
Josh
him.
Jobe.
You get my point now. So I would say 2 to 3 years is that window where, okay, yeah, this is a contender. Although they think they're a contender today, it is what it is. That's fine. Have that confidence.
Yeah, I think they're just going to need to build a super team around Sam. Like, I like Sam. I think the best version of Sam is very good. I think I've said that. Take Sam's 20 best throws, and they're as good as Mahomes' best throws. They're as good as Josh's best throws. They're as good as Lamar's. But I'm serious, like they are. And you take his 20 worst throws, and you're like, that's a dude who belongs in UFL. Like you look at his 2 picks today. Those are bad throws, both of them bad. Now I see he didn't want to take a sack on 4th and 1, sure, which there's a risk assessment there. You can get picked. That could have been easily a pick 6, by the way. They ended up scoring on that drive, but either way, it could have been a pick 6. First pick, bad read, bad throw. But then look at him on that drive that ended with the Ken touchdown. That 3rd and 9 spin to the floater to AJ, that's cash. That's $100 million throw. You know, that's a game winner essentially. Because then, and if it wasn't, the very next throw was that's a post. I think he ran a post. It's a post to JSN. That's 43 yards. The field is flipped. Even if they didn't score a touchdown on that drive, now the field is flipped. So you can kick a field goal, go up 2 scores. So Sam's best stuff is great. Worst stuff, really bad. So you gotta build the super team around him to mitigate. Like he needs to have games like I think Jalen Hurts today. They went to they went to Arrowhead. Jalen threw for 100 yards. They beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead. Like that, because their team is built so they can win games when Jalen throws for 100 yards. Should Jalen throw for more yards? Of course. But he has games like that. I was just looking at some of their box scores when we thinking about this question. Jalen also in the playoff game threw for 131. Now, is Sam better than Jalen? I don't know. No, he's not. But I think the Eagles are the blueprint in that regard. Is basically what I'm saying. So I think the window, less than the years, is just going to be more about the people they put around Sam. I don't think Jalen will be the guy. Milroe, not Hurts. So to build around Sam and to do that, I think you just got to build a super team around this guy. And as soon as you do that, the window opens.
Hey guys, this is Steve from Spokane, longtime fan, first time caller. My question is about Reek Woolen. He had so much success his rookie year, and he's struggled since then. Is that a scheme matter? Is it the league coaches figuring out how to scheme against him? Is it a talent matter, or is it something in the middle? Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Love the pod.
Appreciate the love from Spokane. Yeah, shout out to 509, man. I've spent a lot of time out in the 509, not Spokane, but yeah, I think with Reek, it's not one thing. For one, let me say this: Reek played good today because when Reek's on, he's on. Like he really is on, man. Like let me read you guys the Steelers receivers numbers today because they are not good. It was like they was just getting cardio today. This Calvin Austin brother had 1 catch for 22 yards. I'm almost certain that came on the last drive. That just did not matter. Or second to last drive. If it did not, y'all get the point. He didn't do nothing that mattered for real. DK had 3 catches for 20 yards and then the tug over Kobe. Who's this? Who's number 10? Is it Roman Wilson? Let me see. Yeah, Roman Wilson.
The rookie.
Oh, from yeah, I know. I can't remember what college he went to right now. But yeah, Roman Wilson. 1 catch, 7 yards. Chris, that's it. That's all the receivers that caught passes today. Reek has something to do with that. Josh Jobe did as well. I mean, a lot of guys do. It's not just the corners. But so let me throw that out there first. That's 1. 2, Reek got hurt going into his second year. That impacted him. I think that's a big part of what happened in his second season. Last year, I actually thought he had a good year. He had a great year, had a good year. I think the main thing, it's not scheme, it's not talent. It's really just focus. When he's focused, Reek is just as good as anybody in coverage. I really mean that. I do. Like, I've seen the tape. Tape don't lie, man. When Reek lines it up and he's locked in, he's as good as it gets at covering. I really believe that. And when he's not focused, it don't go well. In high leverage moments, which really makes me think it's mental because he's giving up some game winners. Yeah, which leads me to believe it's a focus thing, not scheme. He could play in any scheme. He should play a lot more man because he's long and fast. But even in his own base scheme, he'd be fine. So I think it's in his second year, injury, third year, focus. Last week, that's a focus thing. This week, he was focused. and the other team couldn't move the ball. So, yeah, I wouldn't chalk it up to one thing since his rookie year. I also don't think his rookie year was a fluke. I think that he made a lot of good plays on the ball, and that most of the bad plays he's made since then are plays on the ball that just haven't gone his way. But even today, he had one he misplayed. But that's not a scheme, talent, I got worse thing. Sometimes guys play the ball, sometimes they don't. We don't talk about him much on this show in that regard because he's otherwise steady. But Julian Love sometimes runs very hot and cold playing the ball. Very hot and cold. Sometimes he's elite, like the Philly game in 2023. Some games, he's not. Like the Niners game last year where he just misplayed, I think, a deep ball to like Debo for a long touchdown. Like he runs hot and cold too. We don't talk about it as much, but he does. Playing the ball, it comes in and goes. As long as you make some of the time, you're not Tedrick Thompson, so you're fine. So that's a stray at T2. I'm sorry, but it just came to me. So I think it's a multitude of factors, but really just comes down to his second year injured, third year focus. Otherwise, not otherwise, but I do think that I continue to think and agree with Mike McDonald that a locked-in Reek is still as good as it gets in coverage. And there are games like today, I bet you the film is going to look great, where he's just nails in coverage.
What's good? Corey from Seattle. First of all, that DK stat line, hilarious. Second of all, my actual question. Reek Watch 2025. How do you think Reek's looking after this game, given the context of who was missing and the production from the Steelers offense, his targets, etc.? Do you think he helped himself? Do you think he hurt himself? Do you think it's neutral? How are we doing on Reek Watch? Peace.
Appreciate the question. The Seahawks have an internal like metric, so to speak, how they gauge their guys, right? So it's one of them is HPS. It's an acronym. It stands for high powered, and it's a Mike McDonald-ism that he made up. And when I was trying to learn what that was, I forget who told me about it. I think Julian is who initially brought it to my attention. I said, okay, what is HPS? Like, give me an example of a play that is that. And Julian described it as something that's like really good effort, really high energy play, but doesn't show up in the stat sheet per se. Like maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I said, okay, let me see if I understand this. I said, what about Spoon's block on Kobe's pick six? Is that it? He was like, yes, exactly. I said, okay, let me think of another one. Spoon's block on D Hall scoop and score in Atlanta. He was like, yes, you got it. He was like, you also have it right that a lot of these are Spoon plays. That like HPS is generally like a Spoon thing, right? Okay, cool. The reason I bring that up is because what Mike McDonald wants to see, on top of just doing your job, is high-powered. And Reek on the chase down of TJ Warren, as Chris would call him. Reek on the chase down of Jalen Warren today is HPS. And that's what his coach wants to see. The coverage stuff is going to be there as long as he's focused. The way to become a Mike McDonald guy, in my opinion, it's not anything anyone's told me, but in my opinion, HPS. That chase down today, that's it. Like, he was going to score if Reek doesn't put on the 4.2 speed. And that's a winning play because that ultimately ends up, I believe Darian Kendrick intercepted Rodgers on that drive. So in the end zone. So we're on Reek Watch. That's how you get back in your coach's good graces is HPS. That player. And he called it out in the post game too. I missed it, but I was listening to it on like the stream that they had because I was in the locker room. But yeah, I wrote it down as soon as it happened. I said Reek just saved the touchdown in my notes. That's huge. Mike McDonald's going to care about that. That's going to get shown in film as just as much as any coverage snap. And that's huge because that is what both regimes have wanted from him. And he delivered. That was huge. I didn't talk to Reek post-game today, but yeah, that's a great play. That's a winning play. And yeah, if you're on Reek Watch, take note of that play right there. That's the best play, one of the best defensive plays of the day, to low-key, considering what ended up happening on that drive.
Yeah, 1,000%. Let's go to our Instagram account. We got a question from Kevin Sylvie. Do you think swapping Old Man Lockett for Old Man Cup was a lateral move? He just looks tired, as Lockett did last season. But I'll give credit where credit is due. He did look much better on Sunday against the Steelers.
Lateral, yeah, probably. I think that you're probably You probably are better off with Tyler because of his familiarity with Seattle, and you got that built-in leadership. Because I do think there's a leadership. I don't want to say void on the offense because Sam's a leader, but you know what I mean. Like it's not as established, you know. So I think that it talent wise, it's probably lateral to be honest. And I do think if you gave Tyler the volume that you're giving Cup, he'd produce in the same way. I don't know what Tyler's doing in Tennessee. I'm not even going to bother to look it up because it's not apples to apples because he's playing with a rookie QB in Tennessee. But yeah, probably. That said, I've been saying, and you guys that listen to the pod know, and you guys are seeing it on film now as well, or at least you're seeing it in the games. Cup's still really good at about 3-4 routes, bro. And on them, not even Jalen Ramsey could cover him. It's real. He is getting open on a few routes. Pretty much, I'll put it this way. If Cup breaks inside, he's open. He break outside, he's not. That like the oversimplification comes down to that. He break inside, Darnold can hit him in stride. Darnold's also really good at throwing in cuts. If he break outside, don't throw it. See what happened on the Ramsey interception. Just don't throw that. But you know what? Jax is so damn good that can work. But I think Tyler could run more routes, for instance, at a cheaper price too. Cup's costing you 18 million or 15 million a year. So is it lateral? Yeah, maybe. Could even be a downgrade. Does it matter? Probably not. I think they'll be with what they want to do. Honestly, they should have just kept DK. Discussion for another day. But is it lateral? Yeah, probably. But I don't think it. I think it's fine at the end of the day. Yeah, I think it's fine. Especially since Cup's probably also like a little bit better a blocker, which maybe if you want to measure apples to apples, that may take the Cup move over the edge.
This next one comes from Ryan. Is big nickel too much of an injury risk in the NFL? Smaller guys consistently around the line of scrimmage. I think Jamal Adams injuries now even worry. Thoughts?
That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, Kyle Hamilton even got hurt in the opener. I think he's fine and played today against the Browns. But yeah, I think anybody whose job it is, if you're not fat, to play the run, you're susceptible to injury. That includes linebackers too, by the way, and all safeties, strong safeties, big nickels. I think everybody, because stopping the run is just. I mean, look at the Seahawks' first two games. They have a lot of ugly plays that are great for the defense. I think Chris showed it in our standout play segment. Look at those plays that he showed from Ernest and Byron Murphy. Those are quote unquote ugly plays. Like you're grabbing popcorn, using the bathroom, sending a text. There are those plays if you're at the game. But if you're watching the film, you're like, oh my God, this is great. because those plays are physical as hell, though. And it's hard to do that. Like stopping the run is about will. It's about gap integrity and stuff too, but it's also about being tougher than the other guy. And I think everybody is susceptible to injuries in that regard. It's what makes Bobby Wagner like Iron Man of the Year, pretty much, for basically not getting hurt that often. So, yeah, I get the question. That's an interesting question. It makes sense how you come to that conclusion. But I just ultimately think everybody down there is susceptible to stuff. I mean, look at Ernest. Ernest is playing like healthy for the first time in a minute. Last year, I don't know if this is showing up to you guys, but Ernest looks completely different aesthetically. Like my man had the knee issue, and then he had the cyborg elbow pad. Like he looks like much more like a Spartan now without any of the extras. He's just jersey and tats. You know what I mean?
Maybe it's just me, but I actually liked him with the cyborg. It just added an element of violence, kind of like with J.J. Watt when he had the whole arm.
Oh
raised.
yeah.
He just looked like a menace. He was playing through something, and he's still out there laying out linemen, getting running backs for loss, destroying quarterbacks. So, from an aesthetic point, I kind of like Ernest with it. But I get your point. He does look more. He looks faster, dare I say, without it.
He looks very fast.
So maybe that's what it is. But yeah, to your point, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, but I think just all those guys are susceptible. I don't think, but yes, to the sentiment of the question, I think anybody who's asked to stop the run at DB is gonna be susceptible to injuries. That's your corners that need to tackle. That's your true nickels like Spoon. Spoon's hurt now, right? Not because he was stopping the run, but still, Spoon's hurt now, right? Like Spoon was hurt his rookie year. If Darian Kendrick could have got hurt today, I'm like, yeah, I mean, I get it. It's just hard to stop the run from that spot. So I don't think it's a big nickel thing. I think it's just it's why the run game matters though. At the same time, at the positive part of it, the goal for a lot of these teams when on offense when they're going against teams that live in a too high world is come make your safety have to tackle Ken Walker. Come make your safety have to tackle Kyron Williams. Come make your safety have to tackle James Conner, Christian McCaffrey. That's just the NFC West, but insert any back who's got some power to them. That's basically not Devon A-Chain or Jahmyr Gibbs, basically. Like, make your safeties have to come down. Make your corners have to do that. That's another benefit of the wide zone. I think that's everybody. Everybody's susceptible to that, and that's why teams like it as well. It's like, make your little guys have to tackle. Because little guys, to quote Marshawn Lynch, don't want to do that over and over and over and over and over again. They don't. Even if they want to, they're probably going to get hurt. So I don't think it's a big nickel thing. I think it's just the DBs and linebackers that got a tackle thing.
Thorsten checks in. Mike and Chris, how much better are you guys feeling about the offense, especially compared to what the Seahawks put out in their first game?
I don't feel a ton better, but I was encouraged by Mike and Kubiak very quickly solving the play action thing that you mentioned earlier. It was like, oh, that was stupid of us to not use it more. Let's use it more. Now, the play action numbers, I actually looked these up while you were talking. They're not great today because both of Sam's picks are on play action, but I don't think that should discourage them from doing that. So Sam today on play action, he had 12 dropbacks. He was 6 of 10. For 127 yards, a touchdown to Torrey Horton. He was sacked twice, and then he threw 2 picks. So the numbers aren't great, in part, again, because of the picks. So, but I don't think the picks are play action is not the issue with the picks. It's just Sam needs to make better reads. But I was encouraged by the way they problem solved that very fast. It didn't take multiple weeks to figure out, let's use it more. Like the very next game, let's use it 6 times as often as we did week 1. That's very good problem solving. It's like very good common sense. Identify the issue, fix it. I like that. I am more encouraged by that.
I was encouraged by the run game, especially with K9. That's, as you mentioned earlier in the show, he ain't scored a touchdown since Denver's game of last year, or went over 100 yards, excuse me. So that just shows where he has been and how bad it's been. And for him to have a game on Sunday against the defense that hasn't been good at stopping the run the first game of the season, and going into this game, the expectation was K9 should have a positive game as well as Zach Charbonnet. At least one of them was able to do that. And the run game for K9 was overall successful. And when K9 hit the hole, you saw what could happen. 3rd and goal from the 19. He walks into the end zone. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think anybody even touched him. That gives credit to the blocking and Ken just being a guy that hits the hole and he's gone. No one's going to catch him. Whereas Zach, again, he can do those type of things, but he's just a little bit slower, and he's north and south and will run you over. And to the point that Mike talked about doing it over and over again, Patrick Queen, number 6, that boy looked like he was in pain a lot of times on Sunday. And it wasn't just because he was hitting Zach Charbonnet. He was hitting linemen. He was hitting – it just looked physical. And to do it over and over again, maybe on that 3rd and 19, he was thinking, you know what, at this point, we already losing, G. Do I really got to go in and do this again? Not saying that's what he did, but the mindset of a player, like, damn, they're running the ball on 3rd and 19. You would just hope that they're passing it because you're already playing 14 yards off the line of scrimmage because you're expecting what? A pass. They're not going to run the football. And what do? They run it, and there's nobody there. Lane's clear as day. You got Charles Cross out there smacking up some little DB. That's what you want to see. And after a while, you just, they're doing it again, huh? Well, we're already losing by a touchdown. What's 2 going to do? What do you know? It ends up being the game is broken open. It's over now. So you can see in the run game, it wears down defenses. So that's something that I was encouraged by from the game on Sunday against the Pittsburgh Steelers. This next one, how would you compare Sam's first 2 games compared to Gino's first 2?
Yeah,
Steve in Australia. Sorry about that.
No, you're okay. I think it's a little different. It's tough because Gino had been here already, so you have that, and it depends on what. We don't have to spend too much time on this, but it also depends on which 2 games. So like when Gino came in in 2021 when Russ broke his finger, I don't think he played particularly well. But I don't think a lot of guys would have played particularly well in that. I thought when Gino, but on the contrary, to contrast that, I thought when Gino came in, in the game Russ hurt his finger, he was great. It was chanting Gino, Gino, and I was sitting in the press box at Lumen like, what the hell am I watching? But then when he played against the Steelers and then played against I think the Saints was the next game on Monday Night Football. It was like back-to-back primetime games, I believe. It wasn't great. It didn't score much. It wasn't great. You could see the rust there, and it's a tough comparison because Sam's just coming off playing an entire season. Now, if you want to go like, okay, what about Gino's first games in 2022 after he won the job? Well, I thought that Gino's first game was good. That's the they wrote me off fighting right back game, and I thought the second game he was okay. They didn't score on offense, which was bad, but I thought that they were being held back by Pete Carroll's philosophy, which is why Pete Carroll changed it. After not his philosophy, but he changed the plan. He was like, "Oh, Gino can throw. Oh, Abe and Charles can block. Nick Bosa, let's throw." Like, and he kind of figured it out after that. That was pretty much the revelation that he had watching the film of that Niners loss. They lost like 27-7 too. It was terrible. I think the 7 is, you can check me on this later, but I'm pretty sure it's Reek blocking a field goal that Michael Jackson returns for a touchdown. I think that's the only touchdown in that game. So it was weird. Whereas I think Sam looks a little more polished and sharper because he's coming off playing a full season. Played really well with the Vikings last year. So I do think that nothing has changed these two games haven't changed my opinion on Sam. It just feels like you got to build the super team. Like you got to make it so like Sam's maybe your like 7th best player on offense. To go back to the Jalen Hurts example, Chris? Let's just spitball for a second here. Where is Jalen Hurts on the ranking of the best offensive players on Philly? He's behind AJ, behind Saquon. He's behind Lane Johnson. That's at least that he's 4th at best there.
What about Devonta?
Oh yeah, give me Smitty. Yeah, give me Smitty.
Oh, he's like 5th or 6th, if I'm not mistaken. That sounds 5th.
Yeah, depending on how you feel about like Jordan Mailata, maybe one of those inside linemen, Cam Jurgens, Landon Dickerson. Yeah, take your pick. I think he's like a better player than like Goddard. So they're tight end. So the reason I use that example is, at best, Jalen's like their 5th best player on offense. That's what the Seahawks need. I think Gino could have been probably like one of your best players. But I think that with Sam, it's better if like he's like your 5th best guy. Like if Ken's better, Abe's better, Charles is better, Jax is better, okay, then you got Sam. Like I think then you're kind of cooking there. Then I think you can live. But if you're coming out of games and you're like, wow, man, Sam threw for 350. He was hooping. Like he did all this stuff like off script. And you're like, okay, that's probably not good. Like maybe once he should do that in a season, maybe twice, including the playoffs or something. But for the most part, he should be able to stay back there and play point guard. And the game like today, thought today was a good example. Like he had good numbers, I think 295, something like that. He threw for a couple tugs, but it was really everybody else. Like it was everybody else. Ken ran well. O-line was good. Defense was good. Jax was getting open. Cup looked 25 years old, and then they won the game. That's the recipe. If Sam's your best player, like something's not a knock to Sam. That's a lot of quarterbacks, to be clear. But yeah, he's just in that bucket of dudes where like he shouldn't be your best guy. I think if you want a good example of some other guys, so I'm not just saying like I'm hating on Sam. I think Trevor Lawrence falls in this bucket. I think Tua falls in this bucket. Give me some other guys fall in this bucket. Who like if they're your best player, you probably have an issue. And these are guys who make $50 million. Kyler, I think Kyler's in that same bucket as well. Like, let's just roll those 3 out there. So I think that there's just a certain type of guys where it's like if they're your best player, not great. If they're like your 5th or 6th best player on offense, your offense is probably good enough to get where you want to be. Jared Goff is the other one. He's probably the perfect example, by the way. He'd be like he's like their 8th best player on offense. And they have the best offense in the league sometimes, So I think that's what they need from Sam.
This next one is from Bizarre Slothy. Ryan, the O-line looked a little iffy on pass protection. Who needs to change?
Yeah, you know what? I have to go back and really watch, but honestly, just off the first watch and a few rewatches, some replays of specific stuff, I actually thought the pass pro was really solid in the obvious passing situations. Some of the play action stuff they got burned on. Um,
A lot of it.
like the 4th and 1.
Yeah.
That was just that's a bad play call. Sam still shouldn't throw a pick, to be clear. But bad play call. And then I think he took a sack right before Ken's third, and I think that's why it was 3rd and 19. I think that on the run, I think he took a sack before that play. That was rough. He got sacked early in the game.
Didn't work. They got us.
Yeah, stop running screens. I'm trying to help you out by not bringing up the screens, but
Well, that was bad, Mike. A play action, try to throw a screen.
all bad. They're all bad. Stop running screens. They're all bad. Jackson had like 1 for 9 yards today. That was like okay, like a little bubble screen type of action. Yeah, that was it. But I think in general, shoot, today I asked Chris to text me a screenshot of Torrey Horton's catch over the middle on like 3rd and 14, I think it was. Because boy, there was nobody near Sam on that. That was a perfect pocket. I think they did a good job on TJ Watt today. I think with guys like Watt, Micah, Miles
Nick.
Garrett, Bosa, Will Anderson, if you play him, he's real deal. Jared Verse. I think if you come out of a game and you didn't feel those guys, the offense won. Like if you were just if this is your first NFL game, you would not have watched and be like, "Oh wow, who's number 90?" You would have not thought that. You have not 90 being TJ Watt. You have not thought that. I thought they did a good job. That Abe played well. I bet you the film backs that up too with Abe and Charles. So I think what really stood out was some of the play action stuff. And I have to go back on the film to really tell. And then I think the 3rd and 9 where Sam spins out of trouble and finds AJ. That was when Olu had come in for Jalen. So it doesn't surprise me that there were some free rushers. That just like an obvious, like, okay, backup center comes in, somebody messes something up. I don't know if Olu messed up, Sam messed up, but it doesn't surprise me that when your backup comes in, somebody messes up. I'm not really overly concerned about that. So I actually thought the pass pro was pretty solid. I think it's been solid for 2 weeks. I guess I should have included that in my what am I encouraged by? Because I actually am encouraged by the pass pro. I think it's been good enough.
This next one is from Axel MTG. Is there a rule that states the Seahawks can only run the tush push once per game?
Dog, I just don't understand. Chris, I don't get it. I don't get it. The reason you implement the tush push is because it's supposed to be the cheat code. You know, I was just
2 for 2.
2 for 2. I was just hanging out with my homie who's an Eagles fan. He's out here. And we were just talking like the Eagles found a cheat code. That's why it's so important. Because otherwise, just run a regular QB sneak. Duh. But the tush push is supposed to be like, they can't stop this thing. That's why you practice it. That's why you have. How tall is AJ Barner? I got the roster.
5.
What number is he? 88? 6'6", 251. That's why you run it with him. I, for the life of me, cannot understand why every 4th and 1 is not the AJ Barner tush push till it doesn't work. When it stops working, then you stop running it. I just can't understand why you would implement it, run it, succeed, and then not do it every time. I just don't get it. I really don't understand. That blows my mind. The 4th and 1 punt today, soft. The 4th and 1 play action where Sam throws a pick, bad idea by Kubiak, bad execution by Sam. It's bad because it's almost like you make a list, right? You make a top 10 list and people complain, oh, how do you leave off such and such? Where it's like, bro, there's only 10 spots. Who do you want me to take off, right? You have to present the alternative. I got the alternative for you if I say go for it on 4th and 1 or don't run that play on 4th and 1. You have the Barner tush push. He's 6'6". Run it. I don't get it. It's stupid. Maybe there is a rule. I'll look it up because it must be a rule. I don't know why you can run it to success, to have the success they have and it's not keep doing it. Until someone stops it, it's a perfect play. Do it every time.
This next one is from Oil Can Bert. Does Sam set the protection or is it on Sundale or any center for that matter?
So in this scheme, broadly speaking, they have a protection call for one. So it's like whatever scat, whatever the play call is. You have the play call. Then the center like points stuff out. I think that from what I've talked to about Olu and Jalen, the center has a lot of responsibility more so for like the run game points. Like, okay, you block him, blah, blah, blah. Right? You see the center pointing. Not to say he doesn't have it in the run game or in the pass game too. That's just kind of the feel I've gotten talking to those guys. I'm paraphrasing, but y'all can kind of get what I'm saying here. So in the pass game, it seems like Sam has autonomy. It honestly, I couldn't give you a good answer on every single time, but I do know that like every play has a protection call on it. So then it's on Sam to get you into the right play call. Sometimes it gets you out of a play call, which is how you sometimes see those free rushers. But keep in mind with this as well, with this scheme, remember, I think we talked about this last week too, or at least on our standout plays. This scheme, they're okay with free rushers because the answer is theoretically built in. So it's like, okay, they're sending this nickel pressure here on 3rd and 5. We see that. But instead of me bringing the running back in, you notice I do a lot of empty stuff today. They did empty quite a bit. Instead of like having Ken come in or Zach come in or bringing AJ Barner in to block or bring Cup in to block, they'll say, okay, you're bringing 6, but we got 5 to block. Well, all right, that means Cup's open right here. The touchdown to AJ, I can't remember if they blitzed, but like that was under center. Sam just hit the top of his drop. Boom, AJ right there. I think keep that in mind when you look at the pressure and the unblocked stuff sometimes, because sometimes they're okay with the unblocked. Sometimes it's like, all right, send that DB. I'm gonna throw right behind him the AJ Barner for a first down, right? So, and that's the scheme. That's the scheme in the quarterback. So that's what's happening a lot of times as well. Not as much of just, it's not always, oh, Sam messed up or Sundell messed up. Sometimes it's they wanted that. And then Sam just didn't give it the ball enough. Somebody ran the wrong route, didn't realize they were hot. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. And that's one of the other negatives of that system too, is like everyone has to be on the same page. Sam has to know he's hot. That receiver has to know they're the hot route. Turn around, catch it. Like that doesn't always happen too. So when you see, because I'm assuming this question is coming from like seeing some unblocked pressures and stuff like that and guys up the gut, like sometimes it's a scheme issue or it's a communication issue. Jackson ran the wrong way on the 3rd down today, for instance, like, or Sam thought he was going to break it back inside. I can't say for sure Jack's ran the wrong route, but that stuff all comes, it's in the play. It's not always just Jalen messed up or Sam messed up.
This next one is from Ease World. How did you feel about Kubiak after this game? And do you think they'll continue splitting carries between Zach Charbonnet and K9?
Yeah, they'll split. How can I say this and be nice to Kubiak? I think Kubiak's good enough. I do. I think he's good enough. He's good enough to like get by. I don't know if he's like in the, if I'm ever like call him like an offensive genius type of guy. I think he's gonna be fine. He's gonna be good enough. He's gonna be better than Grubb. That's fine. Though I think if I gave Chris a headset and a 7-figure job, Chris would be better than Grubb. Like I think that's a low floor. I think Chris would be fine as an OC, at least better than Grubb. So I think Grubb was a nice guy. I'm being too mean to him. I just don't know why Seahawks fans thought that would work. Yeah, I could have told you guys that wasn't good. For real, I just could have told you guys that was not good.
Came from privilege, had a great old line, best team in the country, arguably. What do you expect to happen? Come to Seattle.
It was the Husky connection too. I think a lot of Seattle fans didn't want to admit that like you were wearing purple and gold colored glasses. Like when you're looking at the Grubb situation, it's like, no, bro. You know, that wasn't gonna work. Not with a first-time head coach as well. Terrible pairing. Yeah, I'm a first-time head coach. I'm 37. Let me hire this OC who's never worked in the NFL. What? Anyway, it's not the bash Grubb segment. Sorry. Kubiak, I think he's okay. I do think that there are going to be games like last week where the DC wins. But I think even last week we might have hinted at it. I remember I couldn't even remember who the DC was for the Steelers, and I still don't even know the guy's name. So The guys, the DCs who I don't even know their name, I think Clint will get them. I think it's the good DCs that will give him some problems. Like, let me look at the schedule real fast. Let me see. Seahawks schedule 2025. Like next week, who they play?
Saints.
They play Brandon Staley. They should put up some points on Brandon Staley. I don't think he's a good DC. Maybe he is now. I haven't watched no Saints tape, but I don't think he is. Jonathan Gannon, I think he's a good defensive mind. I don't know if he calls the plays there in Arizona.
They got
but like
Nick Rails.
Okay, yeah. So
Or Rowless, excuse me, Nick Rowless.
yeah, so Gannon's a good defensive mind, but he doesn't call the plays. So Kubiak should have that advantage. Todd Bowles in Tampa, yeah, I think he's
might
gonna
get a little spicy.
Yeah, he gonna get Kubiak. Don't know who's calling the plays in Jacksonville. D'Amico Ryans advantage him. And then I'm not gonna go through the whole schedule, but just kind of perusing it right now. There's gonna be some tough ones on there, but then there's some gimmies on here too. So I think it's gonna be like if it's the DC that has a name and is like known for a good defense, he's probably gonna have Kubiak's number that day. But these other guys who we're not sure about, I feel like Kubiak's gonna start. He's gonna win those battles. He's better than the inexperienced in the mid DCs. But when you're talking about the upper echelon guys, he probably have some problems. But the good news for the Seahawks is there's not that many upper echelon guys. Like just scanning it right now, you got the Rams dude, forget his name, but he real. You got to play Saleh again. You got Brian Flores. You got D'Amico Ryans and Todd Bowles. That's 5 of the next 15 games or whatever. Like I think the offense should be okay. It should.
1000%. And this next one is from Parker. Did the more spread out targets on Sunday across receivers signal some hope that we're not going to be reliant on, or the Seahawks not going to be reliant on JSN throughout the season? Or maybe was it just the Steelers defense being that bad?
Yeah, Steelers defense is not great. As Mike DeFabo talked to us about on in our midweek show, the Steelers have the 2025 Steelers have the best possible roster for 2019. Like it's full of a bunch of guys that used to be great, used to be outstanding. I don't think Darius Slay played bad. I have to watch the tape, but Darius Slay in his 30s, Jalen Ramsey in his 30s, Cameron Hayward in his 30s. Like it's just not. That's just not how you build a. TJ Watt in his 30s as well. It's just not how you build a good defense. So that was part of it. They had a lot of. I love telling you guys how I chart the games. On my notes here, when a corner is beat, I write his jersey number and circle it. And number 5 is circled quite a bit on my notes today, boy. And that's Jalen Ramsey. That was not. That's probably. He didn't give up a touchdown. Oh, he did. He gave the Torrey Horton touchdown.
He did. Torrey Horton, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, he was expecting safety help, but it's fine. They gave up a touchdown on the same play last week too to Garrett Wilson. So that was just bad scouting by the Steelers on their own defense. But let's attribute that one to Jalen. That might be, Chris, probably one of the worst games you can have for a dude who also had a pick. Like he had a pick and had a bad game. Getting beat by Kupp, getting beat by Jax. The touchdown to Torrey, which I don't totally think was his fault, but yeah. Not great. But yeah, I never thought they would purposely rely on Jax. I thought they would have to because of the talent they're playing. I do think they're going to be able to get other guys involved, particularly off of play action. The other thing, and then Kristen, I'll say this on the audio version of the show because we talked about it a little bit at the end of standout plays. I already was not high on the Jax and the others setup of the receiver room. And then I watched Green Bay practice, and I was like, oh, this is bad. Because Green Bay's DBs ain't even that good. Through 2 weeks, I have to issue an apology. Apparently, the Packers have the 2000 Ravens over there. That defense is apparently awesome. Apparently, Keyshawn Nixon is a wide receiver, is a cornerback 1. He's elite, apparently. So maybe that skewed my perspective in a way that I need to adjust now with more data points. So maybe the Packers defense is just elite. And the fact that no one else got open but Jax over there just means that those guys are elite. Not that these guys aren't that good at getting open. So I think Sunday will be a good example against the Saints to see, okay, I don't know much about the Saints secondary. I got to look at the tape, but it's probably better than what the Steelers have. Steelers is not good. They're gonna have issues all year. Almost can guarantee that. So I can guarantee the Seahawks are gonna get other guys involved, particularly when the other team doesn't have good DBs. And I think that's kind of what we're looking at. That we were looking at today. It was a team that they just don't have the horses to keep up with Cup and Jax.
This next one is from Chad Shepard. Surprised at the defense performance considering how injured Seahawks coming into the Seahawks secondary was coming into the game.
Nah, I believe in the defense. I do. I really do. I think Mike is really smart. You know what made me feel good about the defense coming into this game too was that like Aaron Rodgers, if you guys watch, even if you just watch the highlights of the Jets game when he threw 4 touchdowns, you notice look how many of those plays were off like play action and like early down stuff that like Arthur Smith does, their OC does really well. He's a really good play action designer. I trust Mike to have a really good feel for how to stop a team's early down success. So like this is just a real short abbreviated version of how teams game plan during the week. On Wednesday, they do the early down stuff generally. And then Thursdays is when you get like blitz and like third down, stuff like that. Mike's probably one of the best Wednesday defensive coaches in the league. Like he will find out what you get to with your early down personnel and he'll just screw it all up. He's really, really good. So I was looking at the Steelers and I was like, if Mike can shut that stuff down and you're asking Aaron Rodgers to make a bunch of third down plays, that won't happen. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. You mentioned it with the running backs. What was it, under 70 yards on 20 carries? Nobody could get open down the field. Aaron Rodgers can't throw further than me or you. Like it's a very limited offense. I knew they would be good. I think they're going to be like a top 5, top 10 offense. What are they allowing? 17 points a game right now? Like
Defense.
Oh yeah, excuse me. Yes, defense. Thank you. Right now, the Seahawks are of the teams that have played 2 games. They have the best defense, the second best defense in the league by opposing points per drive. Them and the Rams. There you go. The Raiders are number 1, but they haven't played yet at the time of this recording. So, yeah, I'm not surprised at all. I think their front's good. I think having Spoon does matter, but it'll matter more against other offenses, not one with Aaron Rodgers who can't throw further than Chris. And I've played in a flag game with Chris throwing. I know how far Chris can throw. It's about as far as Aaron Rodgers can throw right now. So
about 45.
Let me look at hold that. Go to the next question. I'm gonna look up Aaron Rodgers air yards per attempt today. let me find that. I bet you it was not great. Go ahead to the next question. I'll have it for you.
Speaking of Spoon, this is from Lukey Rex. Do you guys think Spoon might be a little overrated?
Oh.
I'll go ahead and jump in now and say
please,
no.
Please take that.
He's not overrated. What you're looking at, he brings up the splash plays. He doesn't come up in the biggest moments. I think you should go back and watch some of those plays because he has had moments where Spoon makes a play, whether it's reading the quarterback's eyes and getting in a throwing window, and that results in maybe a sack or a huge PBU or a tackle for loss or no gain. Spoon has had some of those plays where he's just money. So those plays are coming, but there's a reason why he was selected to the Pro Bowl and all the accolades he's received. He's a top 100 Seahawk for crying out loud. You don't
top 50.
Excuse me, top 50 Seahawk of all time. You don't make that list and be a little overrated. I'm here to tell you that now. So Spoon was missed on Sunday by the Seahawks defense, but other guys stepped up. As Bill Belichick always says, next man up. And Mike McDonald, he makes sure his guys are ready, and those guys are ready. Which is name number 1 that had the interception. He was ready for the moment.
Darion Kendrick, who they call DK, by the way, which is funny.
He also dropped an interception, hit him right in the helmet. So those are if Spoon's in that position, we're not having that discussion. Spoon probably takes that back for pick 6. All right. So that's just Spoon is not overrated. I understand what you're talking about in the magnitude of things. You've watched other players come into Seattle. Maybe they get a big play. For instance, Nick Bosa, right? Last week against the Niners. He comes up and makes a huge play that ends the game. A few years ago, TJ Watt did the same thing. There are times and places where these other stars have come into Seattle and done that. Spoon has had his moments. I can't think of any off top. I got to look it up, but I know for a fact he has had game-changing plays. Maybe it's a forced fumble. Again, Spoon is when he's in the right spot, which is 9 times out of 10. I mean, hell, they came up with a whole idea about big-ish plays. What are they called again, Mike? You talked about it earlier.
I won't cuss again because I don't want you to have to bleep it, but it's HPS, high-powered stuff.
High-powered stuff. He's been so good with Mike McDonald. Mike was like, you know what? We're going to name something after you in honor of what you do on the field. So, yeah, he's not overrated. I just think it's next man up, and the Steelers are not that good. I think that really comes down to it. Mike just pointed out DK led the team with catches and yards, and it was 4 and 20. Are you serious?
Yes.
So
three catches for 20 yards, DK.
or three catches. So, yeah, the offense that they played against wasn't as impressive. Now, when it gets down, when you're playing the Texans, you're going to want Spoon out there. When you're playing the Cardinals with McBride and
playing the Bucks.
The Bucks too. That's enough. And Godwin will be back. You're going to want Spoon out there. So I think he makes a huge difference. Mike, take it away.
I think I'm going to just I want to give some credit here. Spoon's not overrated. Carl Scott and Jeff Howard. Carl is the DB coach, and then Jeff Howard is their safeties coach. Those guys are underrated because I think they do the best job on the team of maintaining the standard. You know, somebody tweeted me when I tweeted the injury report on Friday. They was like, damn, this might be like the Lions game because of all the guys that were injured. I said, counterpoint, it could be like the Falcons game. Remember how panicked you guys were? Understandably so, for what it's worth. That Falcons game, there was no Reek, no Trey Brown, and I'm pretty sure Rayshon Jenkins was on IR because he had just broke his hand or something. You guys were panicking. Kirk had just thrown for like 500 yards on national TV like not too long before. The Falcons had like a top 10 offense. You were like, we're screwed, right? They go down there and they beat the brakes off of Kirk with Josh Jobe starting. I think Nehemiah Pritchett started that game, and that was Kobe's first start at safety. They were down, and they played great. And then two of those guys ended up keeping their jobs, which Jobe and Kobe. So, and I think that's a testament to the standard in the room that Carl Scott and Jeff Howard have. They keep the DB room standard high. They don't believe in a drop-off. Naturally, some guys are just better than others. Duh. But just mentality-wise, they just believe in like, hey, if I'm putting you in there, it's because I believe you can go be great. So go be great. I don't care if you're the backup. I don't care if you're Darion Kendrick. You just showed up 3 weeks ago. We're getting you ready. Go play ball. Right? D'Anthony Bell, we're putting you in there. Go play ball. Right? Ty Okada, like they believe in that. Of course, those guys aren't as good as the people they're replacing. The point is the attitude. And I think I think they do the best job on the team and have done for a couple of years now of making sure that when the guys go in there, they're just as prepared as the starters. They may not be as good, but they're just as prepared. So I don't think anyone's overrated. I think Carl and Jeff are underrated.
Speaking of plays in which Spoon basically wins you a game, if I'm not mistaken, last year against the Cardinals, I think it was week 11 or 12, he gets a crazy pressure on Kyler Murray, forces, I think Kobe gets the interception. He then runs down the sideline, destroys, who's the running back? Was it James Conner? Hits him with the little man pose while Kobe scores. That is a game-changing moment. They won the game because of that. That's what Spoon brings. Tackles for losses. Dude is playing linebacker essentially at 180 pounds. He's not overrated. And you just killed it with the point about what the coaching staff does, and they are underrated. So yeah, no overrated for Spoon. He's definitely earned it. He's one of them guys out there for sure. This next one comes from Ryan Turner. What has the defense become from last year to these first 2 games?
What up, Ryan? Man, I feel like on this show, I'm bashing a lot of former Seahawks. I got to get better at that. But honestly, they just have better linebackers, for one. I just think the back 7 is better. Because I don't need to take a bunch of victory laps on the show, but Chris and I were no dummies here. The Seahawks were trying to sell us that Rayshon, Kayvon, Tyrell, and Jerome was better than Bobby, Jordan Brooks, Jamal, and Quandre, right? Now, obviously, you assume when you're keeping players, you assume they're going to be healthy, which is why I included Jamal in there. But even if you take out Jamal, then take out Kayvon, right? Take out the other, just make it 3-for-3 swap. Me and Chris watched the tape, dog. It's on the internet. That was never true. It wasn't. Which is why to get better, they had to put other people on the field. Like, think about it. Their best, they replaced all of those guys before the year ended. damn good through the year. Before the year ended, they was like, yep, Kobe's in for Rayshawn, Ernest in for Tyrell, Tyrese Knight in for Jerome. Basically, is what they did. That's a massive, dog. To get all of those dudes replaced before the end of the year, man, that's some real stuff. And even they had to make some other trades too. Got rid of DT, traded for Roy Robertson Harris. Like they had to make a lot of moves, right? And I say that to say that's a big deal. Why because look who was on the field. Not I'm putting down those other players, and it sounds really mean, but that's the truth. You ask the coaching staff why y'all couldn't stop the run for like a month last year. They're gonna start naming the people I just named. Probably not on the record because they don't get down like that, but they'll tell you. That's the problem. And then conversely, if you go ask some guys, I remember asked dudes last year, hey y'all, why your run defense better? They'd be like, you see that guy over there wearing number 13? He's on the team now, so we can stop the run. That's really what it is. And I think that's changed everything. The back seven. Because to limit explosives in the run game in particular, which is where everything starts. I know this question about the whole defense, but I think that's where it starts. Your back seven guys have to tackle well. I think a really good example of this, you guys, we're killing it with the examples today, I feel like, on the show. Last year's Rams had a really good defensive front, an excellent defensive front. Fisk, Verse, Byron Young. I think they got 2 Byron Youngs, maybe. They just got 1. But either way, their front is very good. Kobe Turner and Saquon Barkley averaged like 280 yards against them last year running the ball. It's not because the D-line sucked. Those safeties were bad at run support. Those DBs were not good. Those linebackers were not good in run support. And Saquon damn near ran for 300 on them in LA, and in the playoff game went bonkers again. Your back seven is where you would limit the explosives in the pass game and the run game. And I think they've just been so much better. I mean, if you want one more example, I think it's Isaac Gerendo is his name for the Niners. He had like a 70-yard run against the Seahawks in Seattle last year. You know why he had that? It's not because Byron Murphy just got blown up. It's because Rayshawn Jenkins took the worst angle I probably hadn't seen in a while. And he just Isaac just went untouched up the field. That's a DB thing. Like when you have bad DBs in run support, you give up explosives. And I think they've fixed that situation. They fixed the linebacker situation, and it's making it harder to generate explosives on the Seahawks. And when it's hard to generate explosives, you have to dink and dunk your way down the field. If your team tackles well, you'll be fine. Then you start getting turnovers, like it just spirals. So I think that's what's changed. Personnel, but what those guys are good at, run support, Ernest, Tyrese, Kobe. What those guys are bringing Job to, it's just changed the whole defense. So I think that's why they're so much better.
This next one is from Michael Scott. When is Josh Jobe eligible for his contract extension, and how will John's team building strategy change around having the league's highest paid cornerback?
No, hey man, this question's a little hyperbole, but no, man, we'll just use it right now to just shout out Josh. Josh is playing really well. I don't know if you can remember one, Chris. I don't know if Josh gave up a catch today. I don't know if he did. I don't have 29 circled. I have to go back, but I don't know if Josh gave up a catch today. And if so, that would be 2 games in a row.
I'll look it up.
Where he basically didn't give up a catch. Like, that's pretty crazy. So, yeah, that's going to cost you some money. Oh, I have him giving up one. Oh, no, that might be Reek. I can't read my own handwriting there. I can't tell if that's 27 or 29. So I'm not sure. So, but if he did, it was probably just 1 catch. So, yeah, man, Josh is on it. Shout out to him. He's eligible. His contract. He's on a 1-year deal. Like you can give him a new deal now. I think. Look at the CBA. But yeah, he's earned himself some bread. I do think that the Seahawks really want to play hardball, though. They can be like, well, who else is going to pay you, right? Like, who else knows how to get this type of play out of you than we do, right? And let you test the market and see. But anyway, we're a while from that. So I'll just use this time to say, Josh is killing it. I think he is another testament to the Mike McDonald like identity, just like Kobe is, of just guys who be consistent, bring the right attitude. Coach will love you. bring the HPS, the high-powered stuff. I won't keep cussing, so Chris don't have to edit a bunch of stuff. But yeah, it's showing up, man. I think Sherm tweeted about Job today too, man. Like he's on it. He is on it. Job, Reek, and Spoon is real deal. When they're all locked in, mostly Reek, that's about as good as a cornerback trio you're gonna get right now. And I believe that. It's one of the best.
This next one is from David Crockett. Let's assume, for sake of argument, Schneider wants to add the pass rush. Is there a speed dominant specialist out there, maybe even one with no power, who could complement all the power rushers the Seahawks have?
Yeah, I don't think so D Hall's power. I think Tank is kind of both. Chenna's both. And Boye is more of a technician. So I don't think they're like overloaded with power per se. I just don't think they have that like guy who's like, okay, you're TJ Watt, you're Micah, you're Daniil Hunter, you're Will Anderson, you're Bosa, you're whoever. I'm probably missing. Max Crosby is another one I really love watching. Jared Verse. I don't know if that's available. Trey Hendrickson, I don't know if that's available. I think the only probably option would be what's my man from the Giants? He was like the 5th pick not too long ago. He wears a cyborg thing. Thibodeau. Thibodeau. I don't know how good he is per se, but I do know they've invested a lot on their D line, so maybe that they just don't pay someone over there. He does not have he has a half sack. I don't know what he did today, but I do know the Giants are going to be bad. So they might be in a similar position as they were when they unloaded Leonard, which is just like, we suck. We need draft picks. Take this guy. I would pay Kayvon, but maybe there. But I honestly think that you're going to see the pass rush pick up. I mean, they pressured Rodgers a lot today too, but I do think you're going to see it pick up the healthier Chenna gets. I just don't know if the scheme is so weird. It's like edge rushers. It's weird. The sacks are very weird in this scheme. Like, I bet you the Seahawks end the year as like a top 5 pressure team, but maybe not a top 5 sack rate team. It's kind of tricky. Like, Chris, I'm looking at it now. They're top 5 in pressure rate. It's the Bills, Broncos, Packers, Browns, and then Seahawks. But like, let me see where they are in sack rate. They are 21st. So you know what I mean? So it's weird. They're getting a lot of pressure, but not a lot of sacks. Yeah, I don't know. It feels like a scheme thing. But yeah, I can't really think of anyone who's going to come in and change that. They have a good foursome right now. Everyone just has to stay healthy, I think.
This next one is from Snowster SC. Did you eat a hoagie with French fries on it?
No. I forget what that's called when they do that out here. But in Pittsburgh, for y'all who ain't been to Pittsburgh, one of they like delicacies, I guess, is like this. They put like fries on all the sandwiches and burgers. I remember when I was here in 2019, I went to this place called what was it called? Like, it was like, man, this people who are from Pittsburgh are so mad. It was like Pimento Brothers or something like that. Oh, Primanti, I think. It's like a famous sandwich chain. Yeah, Primanti. I went there in 2019. That's the thing. They like put the fries on there. Hell no. I was good on that. I tried it one time. I'm a big fan of trying whatever the delicacy is, at least in America. I ain't eating no weird food overseas, but I tried it. Nah, I'm good. Mike's he's not down with the fries on the stuff that they do in Pittsburgh. Like Pittsburgh as a city, not doing that. Not doing that. No knock to you guys who are. I tried it. Not my bag. I'm good. Just give me a regular old sandwich with the fries on the side.
Last one comes from Maddie. What Pittsburgh like?
Pittsburgh feels like a professional college town in terms of the sports field. I don't know how many. Maddie's from the UK, so I don't know how much time he spent in like traditional college towns like Pullman, or it's even a bigger one like a Tuscaloosa or something like that. SEC country. These are college towns. College Station. In Texas, like you can just feel one of the ways I measure that is like the colors. Like Pittsburgh as a city is very yellow. Now I think it helps that all of the teams are yellow. You know, the Pirates, the baseball team, give me the hockey team. Why am I not remembering? Penguins, right? Penguins. Why am I asking?
Sounds
You don't
right.
watch hockey. Yeah, you don't. I'm just tripping. Chris, don't. I don't know. That's my fault, y'all. I'm over here. Oh my goodness. It's the Penguins. Yeah, okay. It's the Penguins. So all the teams are yellow. So I think that helps. But I don't feel that in every city. Like you go to LA, you don't feel like a color. Even in Detroit, you don't feel a color. I think the Tigers are a different shade of blue than the Lions, and they're both a different shade of blue than the Pistons, right? So you don't feel it. In Pittsburgh, it feels very college towny, like you're almost in like a community. It feels like it doesn't feel like you're in a major metropolitan city. Not to knock the city for the size or anything, because Pittsburgh's a big place, but you really do feel like you're like stepping into a family member's home and like you gotta take your shoes off. It feels like that, and I think a lot of that helps is the colors. It just feels like a sports town. It's like I said, it's yellow everywhere. Like it's crazy. It just feels like that. I'm trying to think of another city that feels like that in the NFL. I really can't think. Dallas is not like that. Arizona's not like that at all. Yeah, Seattle's not like that either. So yeah, it's very rare to me. As someone, I've been to a lot of the NFL cities, damn near all of them at this point. So it feels really cool though. I like that feeling of it. It doesn't feel like you're in like a corporate town that has a sports team. It feels like you're in a community that has a sports team. I think probably the only other comp is Green Bay. Green Bay like feels like you're in a community because you are. Green Bay is just one big neighborhood. That's it. That's not a big city, but it feels very college towny, and I actually do like that. It's cool, and it's not just because I'm here on game days too. Like some cities are like colorful with that because it's game day. No, Pittsburgh just like that. I know. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Food's kind of whatever. People are very nice. My Uber driver in the show on this, my Uber driver on the way to the hotel today was like, "Oh, were you at the game?" Mind you, he picked me up from the stadium. He's like, "Oh, were you at the game?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, did you win?" I'm like, "What you mean? Like, I didn't play." I was like, "I'm from Seattle, so yeah, I guess we won." Yeah. He's like, "Oh yeah, you came from Seattle?" Yeah. He was German, I think, or Russian or something. I don't know. He referenced Germany, which is why I'm guessing German. He's like, "Oh wow, he came from Seattle. Did you take a plane?" And I'm like, "From Seattle? Yes, I took a plane here." Like, what? And I'm contrasting that with like as much as it's like a community. Every once in a while, you will get in an Uber where the person has no idea why I'm here. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm here for the game." They're like, "What game? What are you talking about?" Even if they pick me up from the stadium or drop me off at the game, they're like, "Oh wow, something going on tonight." I'm like, "Yeah, dog. The Seahawks are playing the Bears." You in Chicago? You're an Uber driver. What are you talking about? I did get that today. It was kind of funny. To the community point, it happened to me a couple years ago with the Bears game too. My driver did not know where Soldier Field was. It was like, "Oh, where are you going?" I'm like, "Soldier Field, where the game's at." They're like, and this was the Monday night game in 2018. It was like, "I don't know where that is." I'm like, "You in Chicago Ubering, and you don't know where Soldier Field is, dog? You must not make no money." So weird. Anyway, that's Mike's Uber story for the for the show today. So we can close it out on that.
Well, look, we appreciate all the love and support, whether it's listening via Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts, or you've also transitioned onto YouTube to watch our content on there as well. Thank you for following us on TikTok, Seahawks Man to Man. We appreciate all the love and support, and our Instagram, Seahawks Man to Man. Mike, oh yes, make sure you get his book. Mike, what's your book called?
Oh yeah,
give it a plug.
Thank you. Yeah, Seahawks. Oh, excuse me. The friend's late over here. The franchise, Seattle Seahawks, a curated history of the Legion of Boom era, available wherever books are sold. There's a home game coming up on Sunday against the Saints. I will have books on me. Just try to DM me early Saturday or something like that, so I know how many to bring. But I usually bring a case of them in my trunk. But I'm not going to walk into the press box with a case. So just let me know. You can buy them from me. But try to get them online. It helps with my numbers. I'm trying to write another book later. So, but anyway, get it wherever books are sold. Appreciate the love and support that I've been getting on that. I will sign your book if you buy it from me in person. And I'm also shipping off signed books too. Just DM me and we can make that happen.
All right, there it is. We will talk to you guys later on this week. We will have our one big thing in our preview of the Saints and Seahawks. And of course, on Friday, we'll drop our exclusive YouTube only standout plays, which will be fun because there's a lot of positivity from this game on Sunday versus the Steelers. Thanks again. We appreciate all the love and support. We'll talk to you guys later.